Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today got my top 10 dash cameras for holiday 2018. Now normally I would do this, or the past few years I've been doing a New Year's top 10 video, but I figured it actually makes more sense to do it before the holiday season because that's when a lot of people are buying them. So for now on I'm going to do it around this time of year. So of course, all of the cameras, I will provide links down in the description to purchase if you're interested in them. These are affiliate links, so they do help support this channel. Some of the cameras and equipment I do review, I do buy with my own money, so it always helps. And if you aren't already, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to this channel if you find this content useful. So first thing I want to talk about though is the fact that I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So I recently broke 2 million views and I'm really close to 5,000 subscribers, so I think I wanted to do a giveaway, and Viofo sent this camera out to me for review. My review is not up, but I can tell you it's a great camera. It's going to be the first one I talk about on this list. This is a dual channel. Obviously you can see it's got a rear camera, 1080p front and rear. It's got built-in Wi-Fi with a smartphone app. I'm going to be including some accessories like the 3-wire hardwiring kit for parking mode. I'm going to include the Bluetooth wireless remote so you can lock files easier without having to reach up to the camera. Then I'm also going to include the polarizing filter. So you're going to get an awesome package to really take advantage of the features of this camera. All you got to do is comment down below. It doesn't have to be anything particular, but maybe watch the whole video and then at the end tell me what you think about my list, if you think I should have had other cameras or why some of the cameras I mentioned suck or whatever. Whatever you think, or what cameras you think I should review in the future. And then I'm going to pick randomly with a random comment picker. There's a couple websites that allow you to pick random comments, and I'm going to keep this open for a little while, so I want to give a decent number of people a chance to enter. So it's going to close on Christmas Eve, December 24th at 9 p.m. Central Time. So, of course, if you like this video or my other videos, I'd appreciate it if you also hit like and subscribe. But let's get into the top 10 list. Now, this list isn't going to go in any particular order. I just wanted to go what felt most natural, transitioning from one camera to the next. And of course we're going to start with A129. Like I said before, it has 1080p front and rear with that Sony Starvis image sensor, which is Sony's more recent image sensor with better night quality. It has basic audio alerts, such as when you need to format the memory card, it'll beep and give you a little warning message on the screen also. This camera does use a super capacitor. It does have GPS built into the dock, or the little mounting plate, similar to Viofo's previous A119 models. It does have Wi-Fi with an app, so you can change settings, view files, or download files to your phone. Of course, it has a really discreet form factor with a wedge-shaped design. That wedge shape brings the lens very close to the glass, which reduces glare in your windshield. And on top of that, they do offer a polarizing filter to reduce glare even more. It does have a basic but pretty decent parking mode with a 3-wire hardwiring kit. 3-wire means it connects to ground, an ACC power source, and a battery source, so it knows when your car is off based on your ignition. It does offer a Bluetooth button, a wireless Bluetooth button, so you can lock video files easier without having to reach up to the camera. Now, it does have a few cons though. The rear camera is the wire for it is really thick. I didn't like that. It was like the thickest rear camera cable I've ever seen. It doesn't include any non-GPS mounts, which isn't a big deal, but the A119 did, so I just wanted to point that out. And of course, the parking mode, since it's not that advanced, it doesn't offer buffered parking recording like other cameras on this list that I'll mention later. But overall, it's probably the best what you could somewhat consider budget 2-channel camera. So it's probably a little over most people's budgets at $170, but at the same time, compared to some of the other cameras on this list, it is much cheaper. So the next camera on my list is going to be the A119 Pro. Now the A119 and A119 version 2 were on my previous top 10 lists. There's also the A119S, which uses the Sony image sensor, but more people prefer the regular A119 or Pro model because it has the 1440p. Now the Pro model has slightly less field of view compared to the version 2 of the original model, which can be a good thing, and I prefer it because with a slightly lower field of view, it makes license plates a little bit easier to read, at least hypothetically. I thought the A119 V2 had a little bit too high of a field of view. I think it was 170 degrees. Like the A129, it does have basic audio alerts. This uses the Aptina AR0521 image sensor, so it gives it 1440p. It does use a supercapacitor still, and it is affordable, around $80 to $100. It comes with a suction cup mount, which the non-Pro models didn't have, and it does offer a polarizing filter too. So overall, it's an affordable package for really great quality video. Now, I would say the main con is that it doesn't have Wi-Fi like a lot of other cameras on this list, and for the price though, it's not that big of a deal. It's basically a budget dash camera for people that just want something with really good video quality but don't need a lot of special features. So that's definitely still, the A119 family of cameras is still one of my favorite. Now the next camera on my list is going to be the Blackvue DR590 series. The 590 series comes in both 2-channel or 1-channel variations, and it also offers a DR590W model, which includes Wi-Fi built in. On top of that, they also offer an IR version where the rear camera is an IR camera, and you can use that inside your car. If you're something like an Uber driver, you can use the rear IR camera on your dashboard and record inside your car. So that's an awesome option. So the non-Wi-Fi model starts at only $160 on Amazon. It's dropped in price a little bit. It used to be $200. The Wi-Fi model I see for $216 currently on Amazon. So again, I'll provide links down in the description to where you can purchase these. But what's great about all the Blackvue cameras use supercapacitors. I say all because I'm going to have 2 other Blackvue cameras on this list. It does have 1080p front and rear. It's pretty decent quality for a dual channel. Now, some people might nitpick and say it's not as good as the A129, and that might be true, but it's going to make up for it in other features, in my opinion. Now, it does have a little bit more advanced audio alerts, like it actually talks to you and tells you like you need to format the memory card, or now switching to parking mode or normal recording, stuff like that. Now, like I said, the Wi-Fi is optional, but if you do get the Wi-Fi model, the app for Blackvue cameras is very advanced. They've been developing it for many years now, and they've really fine-tuned it. One con about this camera is GPS is optional. So if you care about GPS, you do have an external GPS that's going to have to stick onto your windshield also. But where this camera excels is the parking mode. Blackvue cameras all have a very advanced parking mode with motion detection or impact detection, and with something like the PowerMagic Pro or the PowerMagic Ultra Battery B124, which I've reviewed, you can have the camera go into parking mode automatically after a few minutes of it sensing you're being idle. And when it's in parking mode, it's constantly buffering about 5 or 10 seconds of video. So if it senses motion or impact, it suddenly saves that 5 to 10 seconds and then an additional 20 seconds. So if someone hits your car, it doesn't start recording 2 seconds after, like a lot of cheaper cameras. You actually get the 5 or 10 seconds leading up to the impact. So that automatic buffered parking mode is a really important feature to me, and I think the Blackvue DR590, because of that advanced parking mode, is one of the best budget 2-channel dash cameras at $160. And again, it used to be $200 starting, but I think it's a great deal. I personally would probably take the DR590 over the A129. Now, the next camera on the list is going to be the DR750. Of course, that also comes with a 2-channel or 1-channel variant. It also comes with the IR variation also, but it is more advanced, so it comes with a bigger price tag at around $300 currently. It has more advanced audio alerts though. It can tell you how many times your car was impacted in parking mode. So, of course, it does have the same automatic buffered parking mode. It's actually more advanced parking mode than the DR590 though, because they added a region-based motion detection and a time-lapse with buffered impact detection options. So like the region-based means you can set the top third of your, or top quarter of your screen to not set off the motion detection, such as trees waving in the wind. The time-lapse with buffered impact detection. So basically what it will do is it'll record a very, very low frame rate, like 1 or 2 frames per second. I think it's 2 frames per second. And then if it senses an impact, then it'll save a clip of the impact with that buffered 5 to 10 seconds. But the benefit of the reason they added this feature is if you use the normal parking mode with motion detection, any squirrel going by your car is going to set off the motion detection, and that could fill up your memory card really quick. So the time-lapse with buffered impact detection is a great option for people that park in high traffic areas. Now the big feature, or I would say there's 2 big features that this model has over the DR590, and that's the fact that besides having slightly better video quality overall, it's still 1080p front and rear. It does offer 60 frames per second in the front. The other big feature this camera has is the cloud feature. Blackvue Cloud has been around for, I believe, at least 3 years now, and it's gotten really advanced. Basically, what it means is if you have a wireless hotspot in your car that can be on while your car is off even, then you can get notifications that your car was impacted in a parking lot, and then you could even view a live feed from your cell phone or on your PC. If you pay for a higher feature subscription service, you can actually have more advanced features like automatically backing up parking mode impacts to the cloud. So technically, if someone hit and ran your car and they saw that you had a dash camera recording and broke into your car and stole the camera, if you pay that $10-20 or whatever a month subscription service, you'll still have the video file saved to the cloud. Personally, I don't pay for that, but people that can't afford it, if you drive something like a luxury car or a Tesla, I'm sure that's something you'd want to consider. So the next camera on the list, of course, naturally is going to be the DR900 series from Blackvue. Of course, this does offer the 2-channel and 1-channel variant. As of now, there is not an IR option, but what's going to be special about the DR900 is it has 4K in the video. So of course it still has this 1080p in the rear, but the 4K in the front is a big jump in quality in my opinion, and it uses H.265 encoding. So the 4K video files with H.265 encoding are actually smaller files than the 1080p of the 750 or 590, because the H.265 encoding uses a lower bit rate, but it's just better compression. I've heard some people say that they've had issues with it because it's not H.265 isn't supported by all video editing software, but I've been using it and I haven't had any issues, so I really love it. It has all the same great features of the DR750, like the same awesome cloud features, built-in GPS, built-in Wi-Fi. There are a couple cons though, I would say. For one, the major thing is 4K runs hotter than 1080p. All 4K cameras do currently, and that's been causing some overheating issues for some users. I've seen people on Dashcam Talk complain about it. I've had a couple of users point it out to me, and I just, I'm giving my opinion based on my experience. This summer I used it all summer long. I parked outside on a construction site, and it got up to mid 90 degree range, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. Never got as hot as 100 degrees here, but there's a lot of mid 80s and a couple times, once in a while in the 90s, and I never had any issues with overheating that I can recall. So, it is something to be aware of, though, that some users are having that issue, and if you are worried about living in a hot climate, you might want to consider the 750 just for the sake of not having the camera overheat. Now, all of these cameras have overheating protection, but the problem is if your camera shuts off because it's too hot, then you're not recording in parking mode. So if you got hit and ran by someone but it was shut off because it was too hot, then what good is it? So it's something really to consider. Now, two things I wish these cameras had, all of the Blackvue cameras actually, is wish there was a GPS based shutdown option. So like, I wish I could set my personal garage as an area where when the camera senses it's in that area, it knows to just shut off instead of going into parking mode. Now, an alternative to that is the Thinkware cameras have a power button that it's not a switch, so you hold the button down for 5 seconds and then the camera shuts off, and then when you start your car the next time, it starts back up. Some people say you can just unplug it, but I can guarantee you, because I've done this before, if I unplug it, there's a very good chance I'm going to forget that I unplugged it. So that's not an option in my opinion. It's just not practical. So, of course, the big con with the DR900 is going to be the price. It starts at around $500, so it's really expensive. But if you can afford it, or if money's just no option, the DR900 2-channel with the PowerMagic Ultra battery, you're going to spend $900 with a memory card plus tax, but it's, to me, in my opinion, the best system out there that you can get currently based on the video quality, the features, the cloud, just in general, it just hits all of the marks. To me, it's the best camera in pretty much every category. So definitely check this out if you can afford it. Now, the next camera on this list is going to be the Thinkware F800 Pro, which starts at around $300. So can't remember if I mentioned the 750s. DR750 from Blackvue is around $300 also, so this is very competitive to the Blackvue 750 series. Like that camera series, it does have 1080p front and rear. It doesn't have 60 frames per second though at all. It's 30 frames per second front and rear, but I do like the discrete wedge-shaped design more than the Blackvue cameras, I think. Of course, it still uses a supercapacitor, has advanced audio alerts like the Blackvue cameras, built-in GPS and Wi-Fi. Parking mode is great, automatic buffered parking mode, but it does actually offer a time-lapse option and a low power mode option too. So the low power option is basically how cheaper cameras typically work, is it goes idle, and if it senses an impact, it snaps back and starts recording. And they claim it's like within less than a second. Some cheaper cameras, like the Anker cameras, don't start recording for like 5 seconds after the impact. So you're not actually capturing the impact, though. That's the problem. But that's the low power mode option. What I really like is it has built-in low voltage protection, so there's no external box like the Blackvue PowerMagic Pro. But because of that, if you want to use something like a dash cam battery, you do have to buy a special version, like the Cell-Link battery Neo. You do have to make sure you get the 3-wire option. And Blackvue, or Blackbox My Car, does offer that. I'll provide links to those batteries also in case anyone's interested in any of those hardwiring kits or dashcam batteries. But like I said, mentioned earlier, the power button on this camera, I like that it allows me to turn the camera off, and I don't have to worry about turning it back on next time I drive. The biggest con about this camera, though, is the cloud feature is not even close to as good as Blackvue, at least at the time that I reviewed it. It doesn't have any sort of live feed. It doesn't have notifications in parking mode. It's very basic right now, but I'd say, they just got into the cloud game, so maybe in a few years they'll improve quite a bit. Now, the next camera on this list is going to be one that I didn't actually use yet. This is the Aukey DR02. I really want to get it. I've been planning on buying it. I just never got around to it. I've had other cameras. It does have 1080p front and rear. It only uses a Sony Exmor image sensor. So it definitely doesn't have the best image sensors for a camera on this list, but For a camera that starts at $130, it does have a super capacitor. It still has a really nice discrete design. The rear camera actually looks just like the Viofo rear camera. But again, the Viofo uses Sony Starvis, which is a newer, better image sensor. Now some of the cons of this is, for one, the GPS is $20 extra and external. So if you want the GPS, you're at $150 and then you're only $20 less than the Viofo A129. Also, it doesn't have Wi-Fi, so there's no smartphone app for it. But I'd say if you don't care about the GPS and don't want to spend $170 on the A129, just are really on a budget, this is still a great camera to check out. I really like the form factor of the front and rear camera, and overall it's probably my recommended budget 2-channel camera, the cheapest 2-channel camera that I'm recommending. So check that out. Again, I hope to have a review on this soon, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Now the next camera on my list is going to be for you Uber or Lyft rideshare drivers or cab drivers, and that's the Vantrue N2 Pro. I did review this one. Currently it's $200. I was able to buy it myself for $150 in an Amazon Lightning deal. I've seen it. Unique about this is it has a front OV4689 image sensor, which is the same as the A119 V2 camera from Viofo. It's got very good 1440p video quality, but it'll record with a second channel to record inside your camera. Now if you're using both front and rear, you're only getting 1080p in front, but still you're getting 1080p front and rear, and the rear camera does use a Sony Exmor, and for inside your car, to me that's good enough. Actually 720p in my opinion is good enough, but this still has 1080p and it does have the IR lights, so that's see inside your car very well, even when it's completely dark. So suction cup mount, I do really like the suction cup mount. It allows you to plug the power cord into the suction cup mount, and then if you want to take the camera out, it's very easy to remove. Say you want to stash it in your glove box and keep it out of sight when you're parked. And you might want to do that if you live in a hot climate, because it does use a battery. So batteries are not as good in a dash camera because cars get really hot when you're parked out in the sun, and batteries can't handle temperatures as much as a supercapacitor. So you could potentially experience failure from the battery, which I've had with one of my dash cameras, where the battery popped sort of and leaked battery acid into the camera and ruined the camera. So if you live in a really hot climate, you might want to consider something else, or you just might want to consider removing the camera, storing it in your glove box while you're parked outside. Now, this camera doesn't have Wi-Fi either, and that's disappointing for a $200 camera. I wish it at least had Wi-Fi with a smartphone app, because the screen is really small. So I guess that's another con, is the screen is really tiny. It's hard to see stuff on it unless you're really close to it. So maybe they'll offer a N3 or something soon with Wi-Fi built in. We'll see. But again, this is probably my best recommendation for rideshare drivers. Now the next camera on my list is going to be another one I haven't used, but again it's on my list of ones to buy and review. Just haven't gotten around to it, and that's the B1W from Blueskysea. It's got a really nice discrete design, like a Blackvue camera pretty much. It has audio notifications, so like if your memory card is corrupt, it'll actually alert you. That's really cool to me. It does use a Sony Exmor sensor, which, you know, it's not the best anymore, but this camera is only $55, and it has a supercapacitor, so that's awesome that they made sure to put a supercapacitor, and I really feel like Blueskysea really looked at the market to see what kind of features the market wants, what the consumers want. It does have a 360-degree rotating lens, so you can turn it around and record inside of your car if you wanted. It does have built-in Wi-Fi even with the smartphone app, so that's awesome for a $55 camera. Now, I'd say the only con would be the video quality is not that great, but it's definitely acceptable. So definitely check this out if you're looking for something really cheap, but want a lot of great features and decent quality still. Now, the last camera on my list is going to be probably a weird one, an unexpected one for most people. You might have caught it at the beginning of my video, but that's the Vava 2K dash camera. It's a really weird design. Vava offered it to me for a review, and I had seen it before in advertisements, and I thought I would hate the design, or I should say I did hate the design, but when I got it I actually really liked it. The suction cup is really high quality. It uses a magnetic connection to the camera, and since it's magnetic like that, it's really easy to swivel the camera around, and that way you could record inside of your car if you ever need to. And overall, it's just a great quality camera for the price. I think it's around $120 currently. It has the same image sensor as the A119 version 2, and so it has great 1440p video quality. It has a built-in Wi-Fi, and the app is really well developed. It even offers social media sharing in it. It's just overall a great value for me, and the fact that I really like the suction cup mount and the form factor, it became my favorite camera to take with me in my work truck. Now, my work truck, I don't always, sometimes other employees use it, and I don't want to have some permanent camera, so this is my current favorite suction cup based dash camera, and this replaced the Anker C2 as my favorite value based suction cup mount dash camera. Now, I'd say there's a couple cons. There's GPS, but it's optional, so it plugs in and then sticks into your windshield. And of course, since it's a suction cup based camera, it is pretty noticeable in your windshield, but it is all black. It's pretty discreet for a suction cup based dash camera. But overall, that's my top 10 list for holiday 2018, guys. If you agree or disagree with any of my opinions, please comment down in the description. Let me know what your favorite dash cameras are that I didn't mention or that you think I should review. There's only so much time I have, but of course I want to review all of the interesting ones or unique ones. Of course, if you like this video or my other videos, I'd appreciate it if you hit like and subscribe. And of course, I'll provide links down in the description to where you can purchase all of these, and some coupon codes where you can get $30 off orders over $300 or $10 off orders over $100 from blackboxmycar.com. But of course, I'll have Amazon links if you prefer those. So, as usual, drive safe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.